What's going on, everybody, and welcome to But That's Just Me, the podcast. I am your host, Trone,
It's your co-host Gary.
and we're here to talk about my favorite team, your favorite team, our favorite team, the Miami Heat. Um, so technically, this episode right here, this is episode 20. Technically, I know if you go back to the videos, you're going to see you have episode 18, there's no 19, and then I'm saying that this one is 20. Um, we recorded episode 19. It was a good episode too. And come to find out, like almost towards the end of the recording, my mic, my vocals weren't actually being picked up. That's like rule number one is to make sure your vocals are being picked up. Like I have a degree in audio production. I should have checked that. I should have checked that. So that was my fault. So the episode is out there, and you can only hear Gary talk on the episode until like minute 40. But that episode is out there. So technically, this episode 20, but kind of episode 19. Whatever. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this team. This I said, I think I mentioned it a couple of times on the podcast. I'm not sure, but I picked the wrong year to start a podcast about this team. I should have started this podcast last year because at least we were number one in the East. We were a shot away from making it to the finals. Um, but now I don't know what we're doing this year. And this episode is going to be kind of different. We're not talking stats. We're just going to wrap up the season, just give our opinion, see where we go from here as far as the team is concerned. But episode 1, back in October, I stated that I thought we would finish number 4 in the East. We're in the playing game. Not just any playing game, because we had our game, our 7-8 game against Atlanta, who we beaten all season. We usually beat them, and everybody just came out flat. But we can get into that a bit more in detail a little bit later. But Gary, like just what obviously, me and you we talk sometimes during the games and stuff. So I know, kind of what you're thinking, but just like let everybody else know just what you're thinking, what's your thoughts on the season. We can talk about the playing game against Chicago. By the time this comes out, it'll be the day of the playing game against Chicago. But just what's your thoughts, like your opinion, what needs to change? This is just a conversation, a venting session on what we think needs to change.
Yeah. I think this season has just been just straight up disappointing, and this for the just for the main reason that this team has been like inconsistent throughout the whole year. It's like there was no groove. Like like I said, no consistency, and it's just like the unwatchable basketball. Like
Facts.
it's to the point where like you like you don't even want to be a fan at that point. Like, but there's definitely gonna have to be some changes to the roster for
Yep.
sure in the off season. Um, but yeah, it's just been disappointing.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like I've mentioned before, like I've been a Heat fan since '03. So I've seen like I've been through good seasons, been through bad seasons, been through terrible seasons. Um, but the difference between those seasons and like this season was you kind of knew what you were getting already. Like the season when we had like a super bad season team, and I think this is the year D Wade got hurt, and the team was just bad. Like we were just bad. That's really all it was. Um, we knew what was going on. Like we knew, okay, D Wade's hurt. We're playing a bunch of role players. We're probably not going to do much this season. So as a Heat fan, you can deal with that. Like it's just like, okay, cool, that's fine. Um, so that didn't really bother me. The only other time I can think of like feeling this way, just confusion and what's going on, was in 2011 when the Big Three first got together and we lost to Dallas, which, I mean, you could take that how you want. Like, like did losing that cause us to work out whatever kinks were going on and um and win the next two in a row? Like, is that what happened? Like, was that loss meant to happen or whatever? But this season was just confusing. Like just from the jump. Like it was a confusing season. Like we could never get any consistency out of this team. Like we would win maybe 2 or 3 games in a row here and then just lose a bunch of games. Um and then going down the stretch, like it looked like we were hitting our groove, and then we lose games like games to Brooklyn, which we shouldn't have lost. That game against the Knicks where Julius Randle hit that stupid shot from three, just like games like that. And I don't really fault them on that because I mean it was a shot he threw up and it went in. But when we're going out there and not showing any effort and not showing any heart, like case in point, the game against Atlanta. Because we can recap the whole season, but we've pretty much done that, throughout the season. But mainly talking about the game against Atlanta, we like literally, if nothing else, we got outplayed. That was it. Clint Capella had 21 rebounds. Most of them were offensive rebounds. Well, a decent part of them. I don't have the stats pulled up in front of me, but a decent part of those were offensive rebounds though. And like it's been well documented on how I feel about Bam and his rebounding. But I think you actually like you put it in perspective as far as Bam is concerned, just on what he's asked to do and like what he's required to do, which is play defense on everybody. So by the time a shot goes up, the only people down there are people who can't guard their players, like people like Tyler, people like Vincent, um, people like Struce sometimes, Caleb Martin when he's in. So it's just like blows my mind that these dudes like and like it's less blaming the players and more blaming like the front office. Like in that game, the game against Atlanta, Cody Zeller barely played. Why not? Cody Zeller's 7 feet. He's 7 feet. Like he's a 7 footer. And we seen what he can do. Like he plays hard. So if nothing else, Cody Zeller is grabbing those rebounds that Clint Capella was getting. If nothing else. And it
Yeah.
just baffles me. Like I don't know. I have no idea. Like
Yeah, I guess since they're new, I mean they came to the team recently, so it's
mhm,
like I guess it's an adjustment, but like you said, we have 7 footers on the team. Why not play them?
yep.
And yeah, like you mentioned before, like ain't no way you're gonna have Bam switching on everything, switching onto guards of the picks, and expect them to just run down and get every board.
Yep.
Like he has an impossible task of just having to guard the perimeter
Mm-hmm.
at an elite level,
Yep.
and then come down and crash the boards at an elite level. Like that's just crazy because
Yeah.
he's only 6'9".
Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
only do
Yeah.
so much.
Yep.
And then it's also the fact that just this team overall, they have to work hard on the defensive end
Mm-hmm.
because Bam has to switch on everything because our guards really can't defend anything.
Right.
So he has to switch on everything, and then they gotta work 5 times as hard to
Yep.
get a bucket on the other end of the floor. Like it's like at this point, I see why the whole morale of the team is down.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just tired. They gotta work overtime to get a bucket, which is it's not fun.
Yeah. And
That's not fun basketball.
and it's like with Bam, like specifically, right? Um,
Mm.
he's 6'9", but he's our center. He's our starting center. That's the position that he plays like on paper. 6'9", playing against bigger defenders, like in weight and in height, playing against bigger defenders. We're and I know me specifically, like I'm expecting things out of him. Like he averaged 9 rebounds for the season. I always felt like those should be in the double digits. But then, like I said, when you brought up the fact that he's guarding everybody and switching on everything, he can't get back to the rim. Even if the person that he's guarding misses, he can't get back to the rim to get rebounds. Um, so my question is, and I know, a few episodes ago, I brought up the whole, like I think it was around the trade deadline. I was like, oh, they should just sign Hassan Whiteside, right? Because regardless to how Heat fans feel about Hassan Whiteside, you knew you were getting two things from Hassan Whiteside: blocks and rebounds. You knew you were getting that. So let's say there's a scenario where we put them both in the same lineup, which we would probably never do because then you just leave the point guard and Strus to take your 3-point shots. But at the very least, we're not giving the other team second chance opportunities. And if you don't want to go the whole Whiteside route, put Yurtseven in. Put somebody else that if Bam has to go away from the basket, we have a body down there to grab boards. So we're not giving the team a bunch of second chance opportunities. And that's what we did that entire game. So, one of the things that I want to see going into the offseason, we need to get somebody to play along with Bam Adebayo. Like somebody, if we want to try to get a stretch big or something, and if we don't have enough money, like if we can't move Lowry, or we can't move Duncan, or any of those bad contracts, get somebody cheap. Go get DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins is a stretch big. He may not jump the highest, but DeMarcus Cousins can rebound just a little bit. Just a little bit. Somebody that if Bam is playing defense on other people, we have a body down there that can get rebounds. Because right now, or unless I don't know what Spo is doing with the rotation, but we need somebody that can be down there if we're going to demand Bam to play how he's playing and how he's been playing. And I don't know who who's free. I think like Brook Lopez or something like that. I think he's a free agent. If Brook Lopez is a free agent, you go get Brook Lopez. I don't care what you got to pay him. I don't care what you got to do. Brook Lopez has shown that he is like a legit stretch big. He can shoot threes and he can get rebounds. And he damn near in the defensive player of the year conversation. So like it just really just baffles me how we see what the problem is and we're doing nothing to fix it. And then when we get a solution to fix it, i.e. Cody Zeller, we don't put him in the game.
We don't use him. Like,
so what sense does that make? Like, and it's annoying. Like I said, I've been through bad seasons, but the bad seasons that I've been through, I knew they were bad seasons. This season, I was just confused. Like I didn't know what Heat team we were getting. We have to play the playing game against Chicago. Chicago has beat us all season. I don't know which team we're getting tomorrow or tonight, whenever you're hearing this. I don't know. So my question is, what do we do? Like, where do we go from here? Like, what would, if you're in the front office, what moves would you try to make? Like, realistic, and then like probably one unrealistic move you would try to make.
realistic. I think the most realistic is like you mentioned, just go cheap.
Mm-hmm.
and get you a stretch big or somebody that could rebound.
Yep.
Just get a big next to Bam that could rebound, like next to him, or covering for him when
Mm-hmm.
he goes to the bench or something like that. That should be one of the main priorities.
Yep.
Now, for an unrealistic scenario, I could see like two, maybe two unrealistic that I feel like they could pull off maybe if they try hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
But first one is to try to get Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, okay. I
With
didn't see that coming.
Chris, I think that would be a good pickup. Definitely a good pickup. That's a stretch 7 footer there.
Mm-hmm.
You could put next to Bam. Um, he's gonna be outside most of the time, so you don't really expect him to get rebounds. But the body's there. That 7 foot body is there,
Yep.
and he's been healthy the whole season too. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's shown that he could stay healthy. Another unrealistic scenario. This is straying away from the rebounding aspect, and focusing more on the offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I don't know if you've seen, but there's been talks of Atlanta putting Trey Young in the trade talks.
Yep.
So I think the Heat should push for Trey Young.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a trade, like a I guess like a scenario,
Mm-hmm.
imaginary scenario with a trade package. It was like um, Tyler and Tyler Duncan Robinson and a first round pick for Trey Young. And you know what? If that were the case, if that could work, I'll pull that trigger. I'm not gonna lie,
Right.
and get Trey Young
No, I
just
mean,
for that
yeah,
offensive prowess. Like,
yeah, and I don't hate that. Honestly, like um I don't hate those at all. Like, and at the end of the day, anything is better than what we're putting out right now. Um, so some moves that I would make, and like I pulled up the free agent tracker, um, and right now I'm gonna focus on like centers. So centers, and let's go like cheap centers. You have, well, Brooke Lopez is probably not gonna be cheap. Um,
yeah,
but we have like Andre Drummond. We know he's a rebound machine. So if Bam is playing guarding 1 through 5, which he's really great at, then we know rebounding is covered. We have players like um Brooke Lopez, Christian Wood. Um I don't know if he's consistent enough to do what we would need him to do, but it would definitely be something to look at. Um so yeah, those are like my realistic trades. My unrealistic trades, starting off straight out the gate, um, Dame. I don't see Dame being in Portland too much longer. Um, Dame would be a perfect fit. He's not the greatest defensive player, but you know what Dame's gonna do? He's gonna get buckets. We won't go 7-8 minutes without getting a score. I guarantee you that.
right.
Um, and getting Dame, obviously we have to give up Tyler Hero. Um, but the one thing that we know about Dame, as much as the joke, we make the jokes, because I definitely do, about Dame. I don't think he really wants to win a championship because he keeps re-signing with Portland. Um, one thing that Dame is consistent. Like you know what you're gonna get from Dame. Um, and Tyler hasn't reached that level of consistency yet, and I think he can get to that point. Like I certainly think he can get there, but if we're trying to do something with, especially with Jimmy playing at the rate that he's playing at right now, because that may or may not last much longer. But with Jimmy playing the way that he's playing now, we need to get somebody who is going to who's going to actually do what needs to be done. If we can pull off a Dame trade, and if we have to end up keeping Lowry, we can keep Lowry in his bench role and have Dame starting with the starting unit or something of that nature. Another unrealistic pickup, and this one might be a little outlandish, but Kyrie Irving, he's free. Like he's free in terms of like we wouldn't have to trade anybody for him because he's gonna be a free agent. So getting Kyrie, obviously, we all know, the whole world knows what comes with Kyrie. But if the Heat organization is what we think they are we and what they say they are, we shouldn't have that many issues out of Kyrie Irving. Is every time that he's been traded, he's been linked to Miami, but we just haven't been willing to give up the assets. So if we can pull something off like that, get like a Kyrie Dame, and I know for the most part, like my unrealistic expectations were non-rebounders, like non centers or whatever. That's because I feel like we can pick somebody up on the market for cheap, as far as centers are concerned. But like at the point guard position, and not even the point guard, in the scorer's position, let's just leave it at that. Because as long as we can get a scorer, a consistent scorer, a consistent go-to person, and if Bam continues to play how he played in the first half of the season, along with Jimmy doing what Jimmy does, and if we can keep pretty much the team that we have, then you put Kyrie Irving there, or you put Dame, well, mainly Kyrie Irving because he's a free agent, but you put Kyrie Irving in there, you get to keep your team. If you still want to trade away Duncan Robinson's contract and pick up some other pieces, then we do that. But yeah, like those are the types of moves that I think we need to make. A scorer and somebody that can play along Bam Adebayo, which is like a stretch center or something, like a stretch center or like a super tall power forward. I like the Kristaps Porzingis one. Like I didn't even think of that one, because he's definitely a free agent. Another person I wouldn't be mad at either is Kyle Kuzma. Like I've always been a fan of Kyle Kuzma. I think he can play. I think he can score when called upon. Like I do think he needs to like kind of just define his role a little bit more. But I think Kyle Kuzma would also be a nice fit in Miami. Yeah, and I think
It fits his style too.
huh?
It fits his style too. Like
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
he's flashy and
Yep.
stuff. That's the Miami style right
Yep, fashionable and everything. So,
there. Yeah.
those would be the people that I would think. Just looking over the list, you got Jeremy Grant, um, potentially, but he'll. I mean, he kind of would be more like another Bam type player with like worse defense, and he's also expensive. Um, who else? Oh, Nikola Vucevic. That would be an amazing pickup. Oh my gosh. Not only because he kills us every time we play him. So I'm definitely not looking forward to this Chicago game, but he fits exactly what we would need. He's a big body who can rebound and shoot the three pretty efficiently. And he's a free agent, so he's free, but I mean, he's going to be coming off of a $22 million contract. So he's going to be looking for money. So I mean, that can go, that can go one way or another. But if we can move off of some of these contracts that we have, like some of these bad contracts that we have, if we can move off the Kyle Lowry contract, let me put it this way: if we can get rid of Kyle and Duncan and find a way to like sign like two big moves. So get rid of Kyle and Duncan, which may or may not work, and like get like a Kyrie Irving and a Nikola Vucevic. I think that can, at least for our starting lineup, that can work for us. If we have some money left over, then we can probably re-sign Cody Zeller. If we got some money left over, we can re-sign Caleb Martin if he's not already under contract. I'm not sure. But as far as backup point guards are concerned, I would prefer to get rid of Gabe Vincent and try to find like another backup point guard to help us out. If we were to get a Kyrie Irving, and and come in and the productivity doesn't fall off as much. That's what I would like to see. Shoot, who we have? Oh, and Gabe Vincent is a free agent, so he comes off the books anyway. Um, but you have like your Reggie Jacksons, like for instance, you're like a Reggie Jackson or somebody that's gonna play hard, but you know he won't be expensive. Um, D'Angelo Russell, he's probably gonna demand a lot of money. Russell Westbrook could be a free agent, but that can go that can go either way.
Yeah.
So it's or like a Dennis Schroeder. He's another person. He's gonna be a free agent. So like if we can pull off and this is under the assumption that like they lost full confidence in Kyle Lowry, because on Tuesday when they played Atlanta, Kyle Lowry was the best player on the court, which like you heard what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. He's like, get that man out of here. Like he has no place on this team. But he was the best person on the court. Victor Oladipo, gotta go. Sorry, I understand you always want to be in Miami. I get it. Injuries, gotta go. They put him in the game. This man kept shooting threes. Wasn't listening to me. I hate it. I just hate it with a passion. Kevin Love, it could have worked. It's not working.
Gotta go. Defense.
Gotta go. And then on top, and then the last thing I'll kind of touch on is we need to see what our identity is gonna be too. And what I mean by that is one of the things about the Miami Heat is the fact that we play defense, right? But we need to find players that are at least decent at defense. Like the Max Struses and the Duncan Robinsons, I get it. Like those, and I would still classify them as elite. Max Strus, like, they can't even argue. He had a bad year. He just had a bad year. I don't know if that stays, if that stays up, if that keeps happening. But he just had a bad year. Duncan Robinson, he never really got in the groove. After coming back from his hand injury, there's been games where he just hasn't played. But neither one of them play defense, but we have them on the court for their specific skill set. And when they're not giving us that skill set, we don't have anything from them. So it's just weird. Like it's really weird. Just what we got for this whole season is weird. What the team looks like. Hopefully there are some decent free agents out there. Another player too that I wouldn't mind us getting because I think he would be great in Miami, Jaylen Brown. I think I talked about that before. But Jaylen Brown, I know he's not a free agent, but if we can like trade for him or something of that nature, I think he would fit perfectly. Like him and Jimmy on the same team and like kind of that backcourt situation would be hell. So that's another player who I look at as someone who could come in and help us. And so we spoke about this season kind of. We spoke about kind of forward what we want to see from the front office. So in this game against Chicago, and then depending on if you think we'll win or lose that game, first round against Milwaukee, what are your expectations? Because by the time like we come, with another episode, we either gonna come with an episode talking about how we didn't make the playoffs, and we take it from there, or we're gonna come with an episode and we will probably be maybe 2 games into the first round, if I'm not mistaken. If go a week from now. So, just what are your expectations for this game against Chicago? And if we win or lose that game, then what are your expectations after that?
Uh, I would say I'm expecting, them to play hard, like just try to go out on their shield.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I think they should just lose it and just end the suffering faster. That like it hurt. It will hurt now, but at least he puts the team in a situation where they could get a top 15 pick,
Yeah.
and they could use that in free agency to
Mm-hmm.
get more assets or whatever they need.
Yep.
Because you know, like you mentioned before, the goal for this season for next season is to, I guess, build their identity or try to form an identity again.
Right.
Um, and I just wanted to go back to what you were talking about the identity.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should just try to focus more on getting offensive players,
Right.
because that way at least you could get your couple cheap big men that
Mm-hmm.
could help Bam with their boards and stuff. But if you have that offensive power, at least it gives other players energy to you know hustle and play harder, because
Yep.
at least they're scoring. You see
Facts.
the ball going into the basket, so
Yep.
you would want to play more, you would want to win, because at least you could get a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that this identity of being scrappy and stuff, I don't think this roster is built for that.
No.
And to be honest, yeah, you should just go and end the suffering on
So
Friday.
okay. So what do
Just let
you
it go.
think is gonna happen? Do they win or do they lose?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say they lose. I say they lose. I hope they lose. Like they just lose it, bro. Just lose it. End the suffering faster. Like this
Right.
is just gonna be a mismatch, because the Bulls are a decent team. You can say
Mm-hmm.
they're a decent team.
Right.
The offense for them is there. They're not really that good on defense.
Right.
But if they're hot, we're not beating them. Like it's just simple as that, to be honest.
Right.
So yeah, I don't see them winning. I don't see the Heat winning that game.
Okay. So um like for the most part I agree with exactly what you said. Like it cuz and the only reason why the Milwaukee series is going to be hard is the size difference. Like trying to guard Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez, and freaking Giannis. The size difference is I mean, we see what happened with Clint Capella, 21 rebounds. So us going against Milwaukee is gonna be a repeat of 2 years ago where
Mhm.
they swept us in the first round. And I hated that. I hated every second of that. Um, but as far as tomorrow's game, I'm like split. Like 90% of me feels like they're gonna lose tomorrow. Um, the other 10% feels like we pull it off. I think we we know Chicago well enough to know what we have to do. So we just have to do it. Like we have to execute it. So 90% of me thinks we lose, we end the season, we get ready to get to the to front office. And I'm like at the point right now where like I don't care who they trade to get who we need. Like and typically after heat seasons, like just because I watch the team so much and like I start liking players and whatnot, I get like I'm like, dang, I don't really want them to, trade this player and I don't want to see this player doing or whatever. But I think it's time. Like you have to do something drastic. Like stop being stingy. You we don't want to have a repeat of this season, next season. And typically, like we don't usually have like a lot of back to back bad seasons. So I anticipate the front office will do something that needs to be done. But in the same breath, they might not. And we might be disappointed in how we was feeling last year. We're like, dang, y'all ain't do nothing. Like y'all didn't make any moves. So, we I think we lose tomorrow too. I think we lose tomorrow too. And crazy thing is I'm not even gonna be home like to watch the game. So I'm gonna just let it play out and I'll see I'll see what the score is at the end of the game. And once that happens, we'll see where we go from there. So just kind of off, because the playoffs are starting. At the end of the day, like we are Heat fans, but we are also basketball fans. So just real quick before we end this episode, what are your predictions for the first round? I'll call off the games and I mean the matchups, and then you just tell me who you think wins that first round, and then I'll give my opinion too on the
Okay.
on that round. Just give me one second. I'm trying to find the. All right, here we go. So let's start in the West, since it's gonna hurt us more in the East because it's just really easy to just say the Heat. So we got so we got the Nuggets versus the Thunder or Timberwolves. Who you got?
Sweep Denver,
Damn,
either or.
sweet,
Yeah, I see
straight
Denver
sweet.
taking out for it. Yeah, I think so. But I don't think either team stands a chance. Even though OKC does have a lot of young firepower,
Right.
they don't have that experience. I mean, the Denver Nuggets have the two-time MVP.
Mm-hmm.
The roster is constructed very well. They got your defenders. Their sharpshooters. They got Nikola Jokic. They could do everything.
Right.
So I don't think. Maybe I would say OKC maybe steals one, maybe
Right.
one game, but I see a broom coming out for that series. No cap.
No, I agree. I think the Nuggets are gonna win that first series easily. Like if not a sweep, definitely five. Like I don't see it going any further than that. All right, we have the Suns and the Clippers.
Mm. Nah, that's a good one because I don't know if PG is coming back
Mm-hmm.
in on time to
Probably
play
not.
that series. If he does, and he's able to play, I would say I think it's gonna be like a tough battle. But I'm gonna give the edge to the Suns. I'm gonna say like Suns win like 4-2,
Okay. Yeah,
maybe 4-1. I mean,
I,
yeah, 4-1.
I think the Clippers. I'm not gonna completely disrespect Kawhi. Um, I think the
Mm,
Clippers. I think the Clippers can get three only because the Suns they don't play defense.
mm,
Um, and if Kawhi can get hot, if Westbrook can get hot, which is very likely. Like if Westbrook is playing like MVP Westbrook, which it can happen. It's not completely crazy. Chris Paul's not doing anything with Russell Westbrook. Like that's just fact. So if Russell Westbrook can get it going, and then like you said, if Paul George can come back, that's a possibility too. But I'm going to say Suns win. I'll probably say 4-3. Like I think it can go six. That's not six. Seven.
mm.
I think it can go seven. Um, that's what I see for that.
Yeah.
So the next one, the good one, the Kings and Warriors.
Mm. All right. So I'm 50-50 on that
Right.
because playoff experience is a real thing. I think that
Yeah.
that plays a big part on playoff matchups.
Right.
I would say with Wiggins coming back,
Mm-hmm.
and
Because he's been
I'm not
confirmed for game one.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if Gary Payton the second is
I think
playing right now.
I think he's back too, if I'm not mistaken. Like if I remember correctly, I think he'll be playing.
If he does play, I'll see. I'm gonna give the edge to the Warriors, but I'm gonna say it goes to 7.
Mm,
I'm gonna say it goes to 7 because Sacramento has been playing very well
right.
this whole season with
Okay.
the players they have, and I don't think the Warriors have that like their defensive prowess that they had last season when they
Mm-hmm.
won. When they got their ring. I don't see it, but you can never doubt Curry though. So
Right.
that's how I'm 50-50 on that. But I would say Warriors in 7 games.
Okay. Um, so I'm gonna be honest, I probably watched maybe 2 Sacramento Kings games, and that was probably when they played the Heat. Um, I'm gonna go Warriors. Mm, I'm gonna go Warriors in 5. Um,
Mm, okay.
you Clay is back. He's back. Steph is Steph. Draymond is Draymond. Jordan Poole, I personally believe, is overrated, but that's just me. uh, so whatever for Jordan Poole. Um, but the Warriors, I feel like they have way too much experience. Um, and like you said, playoff experience like that's a real thing. So I'm gonna go Warriors 5. Um, they're gonna get them up out of here. Sacramento it's a good story. I remember like the last time when Sacramento really made a splash in the playoffs. Kind of like dating myself, but back in 2000s. Um,
Mike
but
Bibby.
but yeah, Warriors in 5. Um, no questions asked. And now the series that everybody has been talking about mostly, Grizzlies and Lakers. And I'm gonna just say flat out, Lakers in 6.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that too. Obviously LeBron is not 100% yet,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's playing like, come on, it's LeBron. But if by that time LeBron somehow could get like if they could get at least 85 to 90%
Mm-hmm.
healthy LeBron, I could see Lakers in 6 too.
In the
I
first couple
think
of
that
games, they have like
yeah.
3 days off in between games.
Mm,
So,
okay.
I mean, take that as you will.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, if AD plays like the AD we know,
Yeah.
that's tough. And then
Yeah.
now they got D'Lo. If D'Lo could get consistent, they got Austin Reeves. They got a lot of good role players. Rui
Mm-hmm.
Hashimura. They got Malik Beasley when he hits.
Mm-hmm.
When he's hot, he's doing his thing. But as long as they're on what they got to do,
Mm-hmm.
I could see Lakers in 6 as well. Maybe
Right.
even 5.
Yeah.
Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yep. Exactly. And honestly, me personally, like, I'm personally never gonna bet against LeBron. Like, I,
Mm.
I don't know if I've said it like since you've been part of the podcast, but like as far as GOAT conversations or whatever, personally, I'm picking LeBron James all the time. And this could just be a product of like me growing up watching LeBron James like play pretty much every game, almost every game in his career, like just watching him play. Kind of like how Jordan fans are, where they were able to watch, or most of Jordan fans, they were able to actually watch Michael Jordan so they could see everything like in real time. That's probably how I feel about LeBron. That's probably why I think the way that I think in terms of like GOAT. But I just think overall, like LeBron is a better basketball player. The championships, eh, I mean, yeah, they're important, but there's other factors that go into why a team would win, like with three-peat twice. Like it's not all Jordan. Like, and I hate to even have to bring that up because that should be common sense, but that's just how I feel. So overall, I'm just never gonna bet against LeBron James, personally myself. Um, but yeah, but that's just me, always.
Yeah.
Um, so let's move on to the East. We won't have to spend too much time on this because this one is more personal to us. So we got the Bucks versus the 8 seed. It doesn't matter who the 8 seed is. The Bucks are gonna
Easy
win.
sweep
Yeah,
for
the Bucks are
both.
they're gonna win. And I hate to I hate to say that. Like, you know what? If Miami make it to, we getting one. We getting one win. But the Bucks are gonna win that series, and it sucks. But whatever. Move on from
Hmm?
that. Next we got the Cavaliers and the Knicks. That's gonna be a
Cavs.
good series.
Yeah, that's tough.
And as much as it pains me to say this, Knicks in 6. I understand Donovan Mitchell, 72 points or 72. Yeah, 72 points this season. That's all fine and dandy, but the Knicks, they're not scrubs. Like they only have 4 more losses than the Cavaliers. Like, so it's not like there's that big of a disparity like between the two. So I'm gonna go Knicks in 6. I'm gonna go Knicks in 6.
Hmm. Uh, I must say, I think both teams match up perfectly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Garland guarding Brunson,
Mm-hmm.
D Mitch going up against either RJ or I don't know if they play Grimes.
It'll probably
Um,
be Grimes. Yeah, I think so. Because I think
um,
quickly. Yeah, I don't think quickly starts. I think he comes
yeah,
back off the
quickly
bench.
comes off the bench. I
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah. With all that stuff, like D Mitch, what I've seen from D Mitch in the playoffs, I'm gonna say Cavs in 7. That's gonna be a tough battle between both teams.
Ooh.
I think they're gonna be
Nah,
going
nah,
back
I
and
like
forth.
it. I like it.
Um, I think that the Knicks, other than Jalen Brunson,
Mm-hmm.
there's too much inconsistency there.
Right.
Julius Randle, I think he's had his best season yet
Yeah.
this year,
Facts.
but he's very hot headed. He could get like
Mm-hmm.
he gets out of he gets like he loses concentration so fast when he gets mad,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's gonna happen during that series, but if it does, that's a possibility. So I'm gonna just put that into consideration. So
So you got Cavs in 7.
yeah, I got Cavs in 7 because
Okay.
them young Donovan and Darius are fresh legs, young scorers. Like they're gonna be going crazy. So
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I like it. I mean, I don't care either way, but because
yeah,
whoever wins that series, they got to go against the Bucks, and they're probably not going to win.
yeah.
So next next we got the Sixers and the Nets.
And
I think
uh,
I already used my New York bias for one team. Um, so yeah, Sixers and 5.
I agree. I agree. I think that the where the Sixers are going to struggle most is once they get to that second round.
Mm-hmm.
First round, I think that matchup that's nobody guarding Embiid.
No.
Like Harden is gonna be doing Harden things. Um, you know, Sixers got their pieces with PJ.
Yep.
Uh, they're gonna do their thing. I mean, nobody's stopping. No, Joel Embiid is not gonna be stopped. So
No, no, not at all. Not at all.
uh,
Not at all.
that's over. Like yeah, like I said, 5. I see it in 5 too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely Sixers and 5. And I'm only giving Sixers and 5 because I think the Nets will probably win one home game.
Mm.
Because I mean, the fact that they were able to keep up what what Kyrie and KD left, and then with Mikal Bridges, like he's been playing really well. Um, so you can't get mad at that. Nick Claxton, I like Nick Claxton. Um, too, he's gonna get killed by Joel Embiid. Like that's gonna happen. But I think they'll be able to hold themselves enough to like still win. It'll be a gentleman's sweep. I don't think it's gonna be much more. And for this last series, I don't care about either of these teams. the stupid Celtics and the stupid Hawks. The Celtics are gonna
Celtics sweep.
win. They might win in 4. Like it might be a sweep. Um. So yeah, Celtics.
Yeah,
Celtics in 4.
Celtics sweep. I see. Maybe, big maybe, Atlanta steals one because I know how Jason Tatum could be.
That's true.
He could be off like one game
Mm-hmm.
and come around and give you 40 or 50 the next one. So
Yeah, facts.
uh,
Facts.
Jalen Jalen Brown is always showing up. Maybe he'll have that one game where he's struggling, but I don't
Right.
see it. I don't think nobody's gonna be able to stay in front of Jalen Brown on
Right.
that team. So yeah, I guess again, gentlemen, either sweep or gentlemen sweep. I guess 4 or 5 Celtics.
Yeah. I don't hate that. Um. All right. Yeah. So that's our first round predictions. First we're gonna make it through these last 2 playing games. Tomorrow, Friday. Miami versus the Bulls. We'll see where that goes. And in the West, the Thunder versus the Timberwolves. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening all season. For those of you who have been, listening for the whole season, going from only doing audio to transitioning into video on YouTube, we definitely appreciate it. If we'll definitely be back next week with an episode. Whether the Heat win or lose, we'll be back with an episode. Kind of to wrap up the Heat season and everything. So yeah, once again, just thank you guys. Gary, you got anything else to say?
Yeah, I just hope the Heat lose, even though it sounds crazy, like as a fan. But I really want the Heat to get that first round pick. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's definitely going to be necessary for the off season changes that the
right,
team needs.
right. Nah, I agree with that.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, guys, we'll see you guys next week. Well, I'll let you. You guys have a great night, evening, morning, whenever you listen to this. Peace.
Peace.